All right, hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. You know how we always say we love getting into the nitty-gritty of crypto? Well, today we're going all in on Aave.
It's one of the most interesting protocols in DeFi right now, for sure.
And the best part is you don't need to be a crypto wizard to understand it. We're breaking it down for absolute beginners.
Yeah, so no matter where you are on your crypto journey, this deep dive is for you.
So let's get right to it. What exactly is Aave?
In the simplest terms, Aave is like a decentralized bank for crypto.
Okay, a bank, but without the stuffy suits and long lines.
Exactly. There are no buildings or tellers. It's all run by code on the blockchain.
So no more waiting for a bank manager to approve your loan? Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, and it's all about lending and borrowing crypto in a completely transparent and secure way.
Though instead of just holding onto my crypto, I can actually put it to work and earn interest.
Yep, exactly like a savings account, but with potentially much higher returns.
Wait, higher returns than my bank. Sign me up. But how does this lending thing actually work on Aave?
Think of it like a giant pool of crypto, where lenders deposit their assets and borrowers can tap into that pool.
Okay, a crypto pool party. Sounds fun.
Well, maybe not a party, but definitely a smart way to use your crypto. And the interest rates are determined by supply and demand.
So the more people want to borrow a certain crypto, the higher the interest rate for lenders.
Precisely. It's a dynamic system that responds to market conditions.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But what about the borrowers? Do they just get to take out crypto loan without any strings attached?
Not quite. Borrowers need to provide collateral, which is basically a security deposit.
So it's like a guarantee that they'll repay the loan.
Exactly. This collateral ensures that even if a borrower defaults on their loan, the lenders are still protected.
Got it. So Aave isn't just about making money, it's about managing risk too. But how did this whole Aave thing even get started?
It was founded back in 2017 by Stani Kulichov. Initially, it was called ETHLend.
ETHLend. Okay, I'm guessing it had something to do with Ethereum.
You guessed right. Back then, it only worked with Ethereum, but Aave quickly expanded to support many other cryptocurrencies.
Ah, so that's why they changed the name. But why Aave? It sounds kind of mysterious.
It actually means ghost in Finnish.
A ghost. Like, boo, why would they choose that?
Think of it like a friendly financial ghost. It reflects Aave's commitment to transparency and decentralization. Everything is out in the open, and no single entity controls the platform.
I kind of like that, a friendly ghost managing my crypto. But okay, let's talk about Aave's popularity. It's clearly doing well, right?
Yeah, Aave is one of the leading DeFi protocols. One way to measure its success is by looking at its total value locked, or TVL.
TVL. I've heard that term thrown around, but what does it actually mean?
It's the total value of all the crypto assets that are locked up in the Aave protocol.
So the higher the TVL, the more people trust and are using Aave.
Exactly. And Aave reached a major milestone in 2020, surpassing $1 billion in TVL.
Wow, $1 billion. That's a lot of trust in crypto. Okay, I'm officially intrigued.
And that's just the beginning. Aave is constantly evolving and adding new features.
So if I wanted to try out this whole Aave thing, where would I even start? Do I need like a special crypto decoder ring?
No decoder ring required. All you need is a crypto wallet.
Okay, crypto wallet. Check. Then what? How do I actually connect to this Aave Ghost Bank?
You choose a cryptocurrency you want to lend or borrow, and then connect your wallet to the Aave platform.
And then, boom, I'm part of the crypto lending pool party.
Well, maybe not a party, but you're definitely on your way to becoming a DeFi pro.
All right, I'm ready to dive in. But first, let's talk about stablecoins. Those sound intriguing, and I'm a little, risk averse.
Stablecoins are a great option for people who want to participate in DeFi but are concerned about the volatility of crypto.
So they're like a safer way to play in the crypto sandbox.
Exactly. Stablecoins are pegged to the value of something stable, like the US dollar.
So instead of my crypto going up and down like a roller coaster, it stays pretty steady.
Yep, that's the idea. And Aave even has its own stablecoin called GHO. We can dive into that later.
Ooh, Aave's own stablecoin. Now I'm really curious, but let's stick to the basics for now. Once I've connected my wallet and chosen my crypto, how do I actually lend or borrow on Aave? What are the steps involved?
Well, it's actually pretty user-friendly. Once you're on the platform, you'll see a dashboard with all the available options. And from there, it's just a matter of choosing what you want to do, lend or borrow.
So it's like online banking, but for crypto.
Exactly, but with a lot more innovation and potential.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here, but before we jumped into the how-tos, I think we need to talk about these smart contracts you keep mentioning. They sound kind of, well, smart, but I need a plain English explanation. What are they, and what role do they play in all of this?
Smart contracts are basically self-executing agreements written in code. They live on the blockchain and automatically enforce the terms of a loan or transaction.
So it's like having a digital lawyer that makes sure everyone plays by the rules.
Exactly. This eliminates the need for trust between parties because everything is transparent and automated.
So no more worrying about shady banks or hidden fees.
That's the beauty of DeFi. Everything is out in the open, and you have complete control over your funds.
Okay, this is starting to sound really appealing, but we've only just scratched the surface of what Aave can do, right? There's a lot more to explore, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. We've got a lot more to cover, from flash loans to governance tokens and even the future of Aave itself.
Flash loans, governance tokens. Sounds like things are about to get really interesting.
They are. Get ready to dive even deeper into the world of Aave.
All right, folks, hold on to your hats because this deep dive is about to get even more exciting. We'll be right back after a quick break.
So let's get back into how you actually use Aave.
Yeah, let's talk about the nitty-gritty of lending and borrowing. I'm ready to put my crypto to work.
Okay, so to lend on Aave, you deposit your crypto into a lending pool for that specific asset.
A lending pool. So it's not like I'm lending directly to another person.
Right. It's more like you're contributing to a pool of funds that borrowers can access.
Okay, makes sense. And then I earn interest based on how much demand there is for that crypto, right?
Exactly. The interest rates are determined by an algorithm that takes into account the supply and demand for that particular asset.
So it's all automated. No need to negotiate interest rates with someone.
Nope. It's all handled by the protocol. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty slick. But what about borrowing? How does that work?
To borrow on Aave, you need to provide collateral.
Collateral, like something of value that I put up as a guarantee.
Precisely. It's like a security deposit. You lock up some of your crypto as collateral, and that allows you to borrow a certain percentage of its value in another cryptocurrency.
Okay, so let me get this straight. I can use my crypto to borrow other types of crypto, but I need to put up some of my own crypto as like insurance.
Exactly. And the amount you can borrow depends on the value of the collateral you provide and something called the collateralization ratio.
Collateralization ratio. Sounds a little technical. Can you break that down for me?
Sure, it's basically the ratio of the value of your collateral to the amount you've borrowed.
So the higher the ratio, the less risky the loan is for the lender.
Exactly. Aave has different collateralization ratios for different assets.
And what happens if the value of my collateral suddenly drops? Do I get a margin call, like in the stock market?
That's a great question. You do, but instead of a margin call, you'll receive a liquidation warning.
A liquidation warning. That sounds kind of scary.
It just means you need to add more collateral or repay some of your loan to increase your collateralization ratio.
Okay, so I need to stay on top of things and make sure my collateral stays above that threshold.
Exactly. If you don't act in time, some of your collateral might be liquidated to cover a loan.
Okay, so there's definitely some risk involved, but we talked about stablecoins earlier as a way to mitigate some of that risk.
Right, because stablecoins are designed to maintain a stable value, they can be a good option for both lending and borrowing on Aave.
So if I wanted to, say, earn interest on my USDC, I could deposit it into the Aave lending pool.
That's it. It's that simple. You start earning interest as soon as your USDC is in the pool.
Cool. And what if I wanted to borrow against my USDC holdings? How would that work?
You would deposit your USDC as collateral and choose which asset you want to borrow. The platform will calculate how much you can borrow based on your collateral and the collateralization ratio.
And since stablecoins are, well, stable, the risk of liquidation is lower, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the big advantages of using stablecoins on Aave.
Okay, this is all starting to click. Now, I can't let this go. You mentioned that Aave has its own stablecoin, GHO, right?
Yeah. GHO is a decentralized, over-collateralized stablecoin native to the Aave protocol.
Okay, hold on. Decentralized and over-collateralized, what do those words even mean?
Decentralized means it's not controlled by any single entity. Over-collateralized means it's backed by more collateral than its value.
Ah, so it's like it's extra secure.
Exactly. GHO is designed to maintain a stable value pegged to the US dollar, and it's backed by a diverse basket of crypto assets.
So GHO is like a super stable stablecoin, specifically for Aave.
You got it, and it offers some cool benefits to Aave users.
Like what? Spill the tea.
Well, for one, it's very efficient to mint and borrow, lower fees compared to some other stablecoins, and of course, it's deeply integrated with the Aave ecosystem.
So there are some perks to using GHO on Aave.
Definitely. It's something to consider if you're interested in using stablecoins on the platform.
Okay, that's super helpful. But we've talked a lot about the basic stuff. What about some of the more advanced features of Aave? You mentioned flash loans earlier, and that really piqued my interest.
Oh yeah, flash loans are one of the most innovative features of Aave. They allow you to borrow a large amount of crypto without putting up any collateral, as long as you repay it within the same transaction.
Wait, no collateral? How is that even possible?
It's possible because the entire loan process happens within a single block on the blockchain. If you don't repay the loan instantly, the transaction is reversed as if it never happened.
Whoa, that's mind-blowing. It's like borrowing from the future and then instantly returning it. But why would anyone use a flash loan? It seems awfully risky.
You're right, flash loans are not for everyone. They can be very risky if you don't know what you're doing.
So it's more of a power user feature.
Yeah, exactly. But they're incredibly powerful for things like arbitrage, refinancing loans, or even more complex DeFi strategies.
Okay, so maybe I'll leave the flash loads to the pros for now. But I'm curious about the future of OK. What are they working on that has them excited? What's on the horizon?
Well, one thing that's really exciting is their exploration of DAOs.
DAOs, we've heard that term thrown around before, but we still haven't really gotten into it.
Yeah, so a DAO, or Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is basically a community-owned and operated organization.
Like a company, but without a CEO.
Exactly. Decisions are made collectively by the members through voting, and everything is transparent and recorded on the blockchain.
So it's like a completely democratic organization.
You could say that, and Aave is exploring the possibility of becoming a DAO itself.
Wow, so the Aave protocol would be governed entirely by the AAV token holders.
Precisely. It would give the community complete control over the platform's future. It's a pretty radical idea.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate form of decentralization. But I imagine there are some challenges to figure out.
Oh, definitely. There are lots of technical and governance challenges to address, but the potential benefits are huge.
So it's like a grand experiment in decentralized governance.
You could say that. It's a fascinating development to watch unfold.
Agreed. But I think it's important to step back for a moment and consider the bigger picture. We've gone deep into the technical side of Aave, but what does all this mean for the average person? Why should they care about DeFi and platforms like Aave?
That's a great question. I think Aave and DeFi in general represent a paradigm shift in how we think about finance.
It's like taking the power back from traditional financial institutions.
Yeah, exactly. It's about creating a more inclusive and equitable financial system, accessible to anyone.
A financial system that's transparent, open, and controlled by the users.
Precisely. It's a powerful vision, and Aave is playing a major role in making that vision a reality.
Okay, I'm convinced. Aave and DeFi are definitely forces to be reckoned with. But before we get too carried away, I want to circle back to some practical advice for beginners who are just starting to explore Aave. What are some essential tips or warnings to keep in mind?
That's a great point. There are definitely some things to keep in mind as you start your Aave journey.
Okay, give us the need to know before we dive headfirst into Aave.
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that DeFi is still a relatively new and evolving space.
So things can change quickly.
Exactly. It's crucial to stay informed and do your research before putting any money in.
Okay, do your homework first. Got it. What else?
Security is super important in the crypto world.
Yeah, that's always a big concern.
Right, so make sure you're using a reputable wallet and you understand the risks associated with DeFi.
Like, what kind of risk are we talking about?
Well, smart contracts can be vulnerable to bugs, and there's always the risk of scams and hacks.
So I need to be extra careful and double-check everything.
Exactly, and remember, Aave is decentralized, so there's no central authority to help you recover your funds if you make a mistake.
Okay, so I'm responsible for my own security. Got it. Any other words of wisdom for us Aave newbies?
I'd say start small and learn as you go. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose, and take the time to really understand how Aave works before diving into more complex strategies.
Great advice. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but it's important to be cautious and take things one step at a time.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask questions. The Aave community is very helpful and supportive.
Okay, I'm feeling much more confident about exploring Aave now. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on the potential risks of DeFi. We've talked about the benefits, but what about the downsides? What should people be aware of?
Yeah, DeFi is not without its risks. Cryptocurrency prices can be very volatile, and even stablecoins can experience fluctuations.
So even if I'm using stablecoins on Aave, there's still some risk involved.
That's right. There's always a chance that the peg could break or that the underlying asset could lose value.
Okay, good to know. Anything else to watch out for?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, smart contracts can be vulnerable to bugs and exploits. It's important to use reputable platforms that have a good track record of security.
So Aave is a good choice because they've been around for a while and have a strong reputation.
Exactly. And finally, remember that DeFi is still a largely unregulated space.
So there are fewer consumer protections if something goes wrong.
That's right. It's a bit of a wild west out there, but that's also part of what makes it so exciting. There's a lot of potential for innovation and growth.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything a crypto beginner needs to know about Aave. From lending and borrowing to flash loans and DAOs, we've explored it all.
We've had a pretty comprehensive deep dive.
Yeah, we have. Hopefully our listeners are feeling inspired to learn more and maybe even try out Aave for themselves.
I hope so. It's a really fascinating space, and Aave is a great platform to get started with.
Well, that's it for our Aave adventure today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time for another exciting exploration of the crypto world.
Until then, happy DeFiing!